Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I don't know if you should start a show with no fun, necessarily as a warning, but there it is. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane this morning. Text the show. Go on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, as one would a marching band, and email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've had a lovely email already, Frank, this morning.
Have we?
Yeah, someone's got in early doors. This is from Mike Griffin. He says, "Morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. I'm currently reading the letters of Evelyn Waugh.
Oh, yes.
And I'm struck by how not only the way we communicate has changed from letters to texts, but also the content of our correspondence. One of Waugh's letters begins, 'Today my peacock died.' It certainly puts in the shade texts such as 'just had a burger.' Keep up whatever, Mike Griffin." What a great text that would be, Frank.
Yes, I suppose what you're after really is, I've just had a peacock burger. Thus you can combine the best of both ages. Yeah. It reminds me, I like it when people say in
public... It doesn't remind you of something that happened to you.
No, it reminds me of Johnny Cash's excuse for getting back onto drugs, was that he took them to kill the pain after an ostrich on his ranch had kicked him and broke his arm. If you've got any bird-related stories, be it a dead peacock or a violent ostrich, why not text us on 8 12 15?
You're keen on the texts today.
I mean, I've done that quite well.
The specific, but...
Violent birds, there must be some bird attacks. Hitchcock didn't just pluck that idea out the air. I've said
Not
pluck, yes, during the bird section.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, swans. Don't talk to me about swans.
Okay. Well, don't talk to us about swans, apparently. Why not? Do you not
Well,
like
they're
them?
the most vicious ones, aren't they?
Is that the one who pulled your skirt off at school?
That was a dog, wasn't it?
Ooh,
That was a dog.
dog.
That was a dog, okay, sorry.
I like the one who, like it was an episode of Friends.
Like people always say, but I remember that Seinfeld went, oh, shut up.
That's me that says that.
Well, shut
I've
up.
said that to you and you've said shut up.
Yeah. Old people say, do you remember that Simpsons episode? No, I don't remember it. Why would I remember that?
There are some good ones.
I don't remember stuff like that. I watch it. But
Why do you get angry if someone asks you if you remember something?
because
You
why do
remember some
people
really
base their whole lives
You
based
remember
on...
some weird stuff, so...
Okay, but
you
know what I don't remember?
excuses for getting back on drugs and ostrich-related
You remember
stories.
a man in Birmingham 40 years ago saying, "I'm no Tontinomo Cherie"?
Yes, okay.
We're not allowed to discuss a Simpsons episode 2 years ago.
What I don't remember is, that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm when... that bit in... I can't even remember the name of the film now. What's it called about the rock band?
Spinal Tap.
Yeah. Hate it. Okay.
Yeah, but we can't discuss any TV with you.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah, Merlin.
Merlin and Doctor Who.
If no one watches it, and
Okay,
it's on
okay,
one or two.
I'm being a little extreme, but
I
why
know.
does it always have to be an American half-hour formatted show with a light-hearted content? Okay? All right? That's this morning's texting. Why? Why is it always Seinfeld, The Simpsons, or Curb Your Enthusiasm? Or Spinal Tap? Anyway, I'm enjoying the Women's World Cup, if that makes you feel any better.
Oh, are you?
Been watching it?
No.
You. Sisters are doing it for themselves.
I've got a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasms to get through.
Yeah, of course. What about that one when it's like trick or treat and he doesn't give them money because they're not wearing costumes? You remember that? And then the next day, they've sort of covered his house in toilet paper. It was really brilliant. Oh, he's brilliant. They're much better than us, the Americans. They're much better at everything they do. We're rubbish. We're just vermin. Yes, it's good. The Women's World Cup.
Is it?
I've watched 4 games, 3 of which were England games, so I'm a little
lovely.
biased. But the first game
Patriotic.
I watched...
Were we rather good?
What about this? I never do predictions. When people say to me, what's the score going to be, Frank, outside a football match? I say, how can I possibly know that? And they get quite angry about it.
Yeah.
Chris, you can't. What's the point of saying what's the score going to be? As if I was
explain this to them.
Nostradamus.
You're more a Corian, I think.
A what? Sorry?
Derek-
Derek
Acorian.
Acora.
Derek.
Acorian.
Oh, I thought you meant I looked like
A choir boy.
Kim Jong-il. Anyway, what was I saying now? What are you talking about?
You don't predict
So I was
football
watching
scores.
Germany versus Ivory Coast, and I said to Kath, because Kath won't watch football with me normally, but because she was women,
was she enjoying this? Was she?
She was sisters doing it for themselves.
Was she one of those women's libbers?
So I said, this is going to be 10-0 in a sort of one of those remarks. It was 10-0.
No.
Oh, wow.
So it's an accidental one. I didn't mean it. But watching England, I can honestly say watching the England women in the World Cup is almost exactly the same as watching the England men in the World Cup.
Is it?
They played 3 games, lost the first one, and then won the next 2-1, having been 2-0 up, plain sailing and letting goals in the dying minutes and been under terrible pressure. So it's almost exactly the same experience.
Did you feel similarly stiff with stress?
You know what? There's something nicer about it. I think I care about the women's team more because they seem like nicer people.
Right.
Well, they probably are, to be fair.
They probably are, let's face it. Not that there's much doubt about that. I mean, I bet they're not. I'll complete this when the music's on.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
We've had an email in. You requested bird tales, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't send in any bird tales.
No, avian.
that you've hacked off.
Oh yeah, that's not what we want.
And
They used
also,
to
not 70s anecdotes about ladies.
Speaking of the 70s and tails, do you remember docking? Tail docking.
Oh.
Docking?
Yeah, I do vaguely.
Yeah, what they used to do was poppies.
Is this in
They used
the S&M community?
No, this was about, I barely knew the S&M community in those days. I had a couple of contacts, but...
Is that euphemism?
It was harder to communicate with them in those days, wasn't it?
they were more underground.
Mm-hmm.
Poppies' tails, they used to dock them. They used to make them shorter.
Oh, yeah.
My dad always used to say, you just find the join of the cartilage and bite it.
Oh.
When you say they used to, Frank's dad did it
No,
once.
I think docking of tails was a
thing.
Right.
Was a common thing.
Anyway, we've had a bird anecdote. Hi, Frank. I was once followed home from the gym by a mallard.
Wow.
That's that text. That starts it off, doesn't it? If you've got bird anecdotes...
Oh, see, I want more.
8, 12,
I want
15.
more there. How far from the gym do you live that a mallard would persist?
Yeah, it could have just been
I love
coincidence.
that
Could have been
mallard.
going the same way if it was a short journey. But if it was like 18 miles,
Yes.
then A, you need to get a closer gym or a home gym, and B, that's beyond coincidence, isn't it?
It is. I think I'd have sang Mally, 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 Mallard.
Would you?
Brown, white and green. Brown, white and green.
We've also had an email. Do you remember... I'm just going to move on from that. Do you remember the episode of Phoenix from the Flames when Frank and David recreated Johan Niesken's penalty versus Germany in the final of the 1974 World Cup final? Ledge, that is all.
There you go.
There's a
See?
ledge, there's a bird
There's
anecdote.
a lot of that.
He said to me, Johan Nieskens,
I love it when you start an anecdote like that.
he was on about
Work
some.
with them all.
They were
Work
at
with them
the
all.
training ground at the club he was coaching at, and a bunch of very violent fans, like about 300 fans, suddenly appeared, and they weren't happy with the way the team had been playing, so they'd come to tell him. So these really scary blokes suddenly appeared and started approaching him en masse. I said, you must have been terrified. He said, me terrified? I took a penalty in a World Cup final. Whoa!
That is good.
That is good. I've often quoted... I use it myself now.
That's good.
People just say, what's he talking about?
I've had an email in from Andrew. I say I, like it was me personally. I think
Andrew?
it's the three of us.
Here he is.
Hi. Hi all.
So that's whatever I say when Prince Andrew appears on the telly. I say, here he is, here he comes. I don't know why, but I do. Try it, it's very satisfying, extremely satisfying. Try it at home.
Hi all. Read Frank's joy at his parking triumph at the seaside last week. I recently was driving home from work in the outside lane of 3. Bit ancient Mariner, that. I like that.
Yeah.
Spotting traffic problems in the distance, I managed to move across to the inside lane and off at a junction, thus saving myself valuable minutes.
Oh, good one.
In doing this, though, I found myself humming very loudly the A-Team theme tune. Then, arriving...
Allow me. Dun, 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 dun. In case you don't know it.
Then arriving at a shop on a busy street and buoyed by my daring driving, I decided to reverse park into what would have been previously considered a tight space. I smoothly reversed in the first time. I leapt from the car and, like Frank at a cash machine, looking back at the best park of my life, began to sing "Looking good today, looking good in every way," the words I believe to the Neneh Cherry hit of the mid-80s Buffalo Stars.
I wouldn't have got that. But see, I've never parked the car, I think. I've never reversed into a space and then leapt out of the car. Because it takes me about 5 minutes to slither through the tiny gap I've got when I open my car door.
Yeah.
And you always think, what if I bang it against a car and the man's coming? That's what I always think. What if the man's coming and he sees me at his car? I won't be able to jump back into my car for safety. I'm going to have to take him on head to head.
Oh, I like it when they're reversing and I'm approaching back to my car and I just sit and they don't know. And then I stop and they realise they're in trouble.
Oh, I don't like that. I like them to see that I'm there. I don't want to be one of those road rage victims that you hear about. Okay, that's just what I'm just telling you that.
Yeah.
There's no comedy in that. I'm just being straight with you.
I agree, yeah.
Life's too... But do people ever say life's too long? Maybe... No, it's this link. It's this link that's too long. I got mixed up. Sorry, everyone.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I went to a garden party.
Did you?
Which I believe is, if I remember rightly, is the opening line of... Oh, what's he called? Ricky Nelson. I went to a garden party. No?
Oh.
No.
Okay. It's a song, I tell you what, I think it's about a song about Ricky Nelson, who became Rick Nelson when he got older and more mature. Did a gig at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And I think it went really badly, if I remember rightly. The story. Anyone who knows the story can correct me if I'm wrong. And he wrote a song about a terrible gig, but that really appeals to me.
Yeah.
Someone who would not only tell people about it, but would make a song about it. Fantastic. Anyway, I went to a garden party at Lambeth Palace. Mm-hmm. The home of...
well, I think we all know who lives there.
The ABFC, of course, lives there. The Archbishop of Canterbury. And
this is the new fella. Well, he's not that new.
No.
Yes, well, some of you may know that in the past, we talked about celebrities. The celebrities who you like and the celebrities who you'd actually like to have as a friend. And I named Tracy Emin and Rowan Williams, the Archbishop of Canterbury.
The former ABFC.
Yeah, and I got to know Tracy Emin on the strength of that, and also got to know him. But he...
Morning, Trace, by the way.
Yeah, he has regenerated, as Archbishop of Canterbury's do,
Yeah.
into Justin Welby. And I met him this week. I went along to that.
A new one.
Yeah, I went along. I think what happens with Lambeth Palace, which of course is the very centre of the Church of England, is that there are so few people in public life who fess up to being followers of the Nazarene that in the end they have to go Catholic. That's how desperate they are. So I got invited.
Did you wear the full regalia, Justin? If it's not a rude question.
He was
for the garden party.
No, he had the dog collar on. And I've been to a few parties where we've worn dog collars.
Yeah,
if you can imagine. But I'm on about the clerical. I'm on about the clerical dog collar and the big cross, you know.
Oh, okay.
And then shorts and Crocs.
No, he didn't have
that.
Garden party. What was?
Yeah, but he wasn't doing the Barbie.
Oh, really?
No, there was
Okay.
I have to
Not in that frock coat.
I have to say it was the
Like
best.
Tinder.
What about this? I've been to some pretty big opening do's in my time. You know, I've been to the Harry Potter first movie.
We went together to that.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings opening and all that.
That Nessie
I would
thing
say
that
the
you told
best
us about.
catering I've ever had was at Lambeth Palace the other night.
No
Was
way.
it?
Yeah.
Really?
It was
What did they
beautiful.
give you?
It was everything. It was variety.
Oh.
Asparagus wrapped in boiled ham.
Did they have anything more fancy than that?
I'm just starting
Boiled
with
ham, you
starting
haven't
with
made it
things.
sound very-
That was the first thing I remembered the next morning, obviously. But it was brilliant, and he did the whole thing as well with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. How he did it, I don't
Amazing.
know. I never know how he did that. But anyway, he was.
Who goes? Are you the main celebrity there?
No, I wasn't. There was a few. I think I was the main Catholic celebrity. I am. I was recently named in the top 100, the Tablet magazine's top 100. I'm number 47 in the top British Catholics. That's pretty
Lovely,
good.
Frank.
I'm above Jose Mourinho.
Is that right?
And who's above me? Who is above me?
Hold on.
Who's at 46? Tell me that.
Adrian Charles.
No, he's low. He's 70.
He's 70.
No, he texted me about it. He said, I'm only in the... You're 47, I'm only in the...
What, he reads Tablet as well?
Yes.
Wow, you
Yes.
guys.
We'll be
yeah.
doing that in the first episode of When A Charles Is Born.
It's like you doing motorcycle news. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You've got to look after your main, your core interest.
Jose Mourinho is on
Hang
the
on, who's above Frank
100
then?
best British Catholics.
Who's one above Frank?
In Britain.
Oh, okay.
Who's one above?
Who's one above?
I'll give you a clue. It's
Patty
joint.
Boulet.
It's joint.
Oh.
Oh, Rich and Judy.
No, but you're in the right ballpark.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
That was a clue, by the way.
Ballpark.
Football
I'll tell
manager
you.
and wife.
Wayne and Colleen Rooney
Shut
are
up.
above me. I mean, I bet, as my old priest at Swiss Cottage used to say, I bet they're lapsed up to the eyeballs. I don't know, they may be regular goers, but I think if you go every Sunday, you should earn. So, yeah, it's not a bad score, though, 47.
No, it's not a bad score. I'm glad that's how you're judging it.
They don't
Yeah.
know what a big goal setter you are. I predict that you'll be 3 by next year.
Well, I'm working, I think.
you know.
I've also got my eye on upping my... I'm 7 out of 10 in Doctor Who Top Trumps.
Are you?
I reckon I can edge that forward a bit. All it needs is another appearance.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you something about the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Go on.
It's the beginning of many a good story.
First of all, I really...
Most of Frank's.
I really liked him.
Did you?
Really liked him. And...
All right, calm down.
And he did a brilliant thing. Everyone was gathered around talking, and he got up to speak on a little platform, you know, but no one had noticed him get up. So when he touched the mic, there was a bit of a like that, and everybody was a bit startled. And he said, "Don't worry, it's only the Archbishop of Canterbury." That was how he opened. That's one of the best opening lines I've ever.
That's decent material.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's only the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Yeah.
I realise I'll never say that.
Well,
Imagine if you were made
Never say
Archbishop of
never.
Canterbury.
Now, that would be controversial, to say the least.
Oh,
Well,
you think?
I mean, the tablet might have something to say about it.
Oh, God, that could send me crashing down the top 100.
Yeah. On which note, we've had a text from 761 saying, "Hi, can Frank please explain what he means by not wanting to fess up to being followers of the Nazarene?"
Fess up means like to confess.
Yeah. Well done.
It doesn't get the other... the
You might have to explain the Nazarene.
The
Frank.
Nazarene is Jesus, because he's from Nazareth, so so he's referred to sometimes as the Nazarene.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a word I love.
In a similar
one of your
way, for
favourites.
people hear my accent and say the Yorkshireman, like that kind of thing. 'cause
Yes, a bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to help.
I think of you as the hairy
761.
biker.
Oh, thanks very much.
But I think I have an idea it's been taken.
It's
that one.
slightly more accurate than the Yorkshireman as well.
We're getting a lot of bird-related emails
We
and
sure
texts
are.
as well.
Right.
My parents had a budgie that would play football with a soft mint.
That'd be worth seeing.
My dad would balance 2 marker pens, and that would be the goal. As he was running around the table, he would say, "Come on, Zach." His name was Zach.
Who would say that? The budgerigar?
I don't know. I'm assuming that the father said it.
Okay.
I did record it on my phone, but alas, when the phone died, so did the video.
Oh, what a loss.
Yeah, that's the way, isn't it? Modern
What
technology.
a loss.
Good use of a soft mint, though.
We've also had a text from 119. Hi, Frank and gang. Myself and my friend David were chased by a peacock for David's crisps at Leeds Castle when we were about 10 years old. And he finishes, Leeds Castle isn't in Leeds.
No.
Good.
That's one of those
Good
points.
info.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I saw a kid at the Botanical Gardens in Birmingham just walk over and punch a peacock straight in the face. I mean, really properly hard. And the peacock went and chased him for, I would say, 150 yards. One of the best things I've ever seen. And I'm including that episode of Seinfeld where he...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know the one. I love that one.
You know that one where Kramer...
Interesting you should
and
say
then,
that.
So
and then
funny.
Seinfeld...
Yeah, a few
You know that
people-
one? Do you remember that
I think
one?
people have also picked up on those sort of texts that we're running. We've got one here. Do you remember that bit in the film Bananas when Woody Allen is walking down the street and he offers to help a guy struggling to reverse into a tight parking space? He hand gestures him in until the driver smashes into the car behind him.
And then he walks off.
Then he gives him the "okay, you're fine now" thumbs up and walks off.
I do remember that.
Genius. He
No,
says.
that was...
Oh, see, Frank doesn't mind that bit. Why don't you mind that?
I don't mind any parking-based anecdotes. As you know. Just the fact that anyone can park even that badly is amazing to me. When I watch parking, it's like watching close-up magic for other people.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a bit of an incident.
Full incident.
You may recall that 761 texted us earlier saying, can Frank explain what he means by people not wanting to fess up to being followers of the Nazarene?
Ah, yes.
You
And I explained both fess
matter
up.
dealt with, I
Yeah.
assumed.
Me too.
Incorrect. 761 has retexted us. I know who the Nazarene is.
Oh.
I don't know if you said it in that tone.
I like it
I'm
when
a
people-
woman,
I like
and obviously
that
I will
is-
I love it
impose.
when you intone.
the Nazarene is, thank you very much.
I love it when you intone on a text message.
Well, it's funny because my boyfriend doesn't like it when I do that. He says that's the worst thing I do. It's not, of course.
He doesn't know you that well then.
I am a follower myself. I was asking why anyone wouldn't want to fess up to their faith. Thank you. Not after a heated debate, I promise. 4 exclamation marks, though, which I think is a positive sign
Yes.
that there's
Yeah.
some kind of jocularity present.
Yes.
It's funny, I thought that whole episode had been put to bed and now it's risen
What, like
again.
that episode of Seinfeld when
I love that.
Kramer doesn't know Simon of Cyrene is?
Can I lend you the box set? Let me lend you the box set. And you've got to watch it.
We have also had a text from a different reader, 702, saying to you, Frank, really surprised as an educated man that you believe in any religion. So there you are.
Think yourself lucky. I haven't been really surprised since the 90s. Speaking of which, I was in Foyles, the bookshop,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the other day. Do you know it?
Yes.
And
Strange question.
they have sections in there. They have the normal, fiction
What?
and all that.
Oh, okay.
What did you think of it?
A bookshop with sections.
Yeah, no, but they have.
He doesn't get out much.
What I mean,
story.
what I mean is they have, you know what I mean? They have like a table that says things like cold as ice, and it'll be Scandinavian fiction
Yes.
or something like that.
I know
They have
exactly what you
that
mean.
sort of thing.
Comedians of the 90s.
Well, that was my problem. They had they had a table called Big in the 90s. I was frightened to look at it.
Oh, no.
I was absolutely frightened. From a distance, I could see Morris's autobiography. I thought, God, if he'd come in, he'd turn the table over.
Yeah,
Was it Mark Lamar, best radio moments?
Mark Lamar, I still think should be the new John Peel.
I'm a
Yes.
huge fan of Mark's.
No,
Fantastic.
and I think there was the Tracy Thorne book, but I wouldn't go too close because I just knew there was a real chance that I'd been
Overlooked.
that I was in
He
it.
was in
Oh,
it.
I
I wanted
see.
to be overlooked.
Oh, in that
Big
case.
in the 90s suggests now quite small.
Oh, yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
so.
There's a lot of people from the 90s getting a career resurgence.
Well, yeah, that can happen. They do come back, it's true. I'm still waiting for the call. But I've read the highway code from cover to cover this week, just in case.
Have you?
Well, have I? I've been the only person who's ever read the highway code after they've passed their test.
Yeah.
I bet there isn't a person in Britain who's done that. Why would you do it? For the cartoons? I'll tell you something else as well. I went to the opening night of 1984.
Oh, the musical.
No, the year.
It means New Year's Eve, 1983, 84.
That's what we should call them, opening night. I'm going to, this year, I'm going to say opening night 2016. Yeah, original cast. So, you know, 1984, obviously, George Orwell and all that.
Yeah.
And
God, you're all about Orwell, aren't you? 1984,
Oh,
Room 101.
well, that was it. That was one of the things.
That's becoming Frank's brand.
I must admit,
Look a bit
when
like
they
him.
started talking about Room 101 in the play, I did think, this book's never going to be the same for me again now. Because they were saying, what is in Room 101? I don't want to go in Room 101. And I just felt self-conscious and awkward. I felt the whole audience were looking at me and they weren't.
Yeah.
But that was, in fairness, because you stood up
Yes.
to get the applause.
Yeah, I did. I stood up with a little Room 101 logo. No, I didn't. But it was... I'll tell you what happened. Now, what about this? This is the most Route 1 thing I think I've ever done in my life. I watched the... I don't want to... no spoilers, but suffice to say that the main character, Winston Smith...
So I don't think it's spoilers, a novel that was written, when was it, the 40s?
Remember a lot...
1948 it was written, wasn't
Yeah, a lot of people, though.
Didn't he flip it? Isn't
I
that how
know,
he got
but that's past
1984?
statute of limitations.
Yeah,
I'm
but there
sorry.
might be people listening to this who think, it sounds good, this 1984. I might give it a...
Yes, he did
I might
flip
give
it,
it a crack.
1948, exactly.
So, I think it was actually published in 49. Never mind. He...
It does know a
working
lot
with
about
him.
Orwell.
The main character, Winston Smith, is terrified of rats. That's his
Yes.
big phobia. And that night, I was woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I had a dream that I was being attacked by rats.
What are the chances of that happening?
No, but I had...
Fairly high, I would
Very
imagine.
high,
Yeah.
indeed. I don't normally have nightmares, not since the Brits. And also, often I have a dream and I'll lie back and spend, some time pulling it apart and working out where all the bits come from. That one was just the easiest dream interpretation of all, honestly.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner. I'm with Emily Dean, who's changes 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Clothes, I meant. And Alan Cochrane.
And aspects of my
who's
face.
still basically
The same
ocean
guy.
collars scene in his appearance.
Well, I'll tell you where you can get a job. There's a new show coming up,
What's that?
TFI Friday.
Oh, yeah. You can text the show, not that show, this show on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
TFI Friday doesn't do text, they do letters still.
Do they still do letters?
I believe so, yeah.
Respect to that.
It's your letters. That
Perhaps I can get out my goat's foot letter opener after
that'd
all.
be good.
What about Chris Evans?
Well,
He's
what
done well.
about it?
He's done well for himself.
Yeah.
He's
He's
having a bad
replaced
turn, hasn't he?
Jeremiah Clarkson.
He has.
He said he wasn't going to do it. He did say on Twitter, I saw his tweet, and he said, I categorically deny it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he knows what categorically means.
Or
I
deny.
think he thinks it means not at all. Yeah, but he is doing it.
Well, it's a good booking, isn't it?
For him,
Well, for them, he knows about cars.
yeah.
You couldn't have me on doing it.
You're getting
imagine
excited because you'd managed to reverse park.
I could do, star in a reasonably priced car park.
Did you think you
in
were in
which
the
I have
running?
to go
Is this-
in. No, I
is this
didn't think I was.
disappointment in
I
your
was
voice?
mentioned on Twitter apparently as a possible sidekick.
Were you?
Can you imagine it?
Wacky sidekick.
I think someone
my
mentioned my
vote-
boyfriend and he doesn't drive.
I vote for George Michael.
Yes, that would have been good
That
fun.
would spice it up a bit.
Good fun.
Can I tell you what I particularly liked about this whole thing was, did you see when he accepted the job, there was a very 1970s kind of publicity thing where he drove off in an open-top car, a bit Simon D, if any of our readers recall him.
Well, a bit Kate Middleton and Prince William, that's what they did.
Was. It was a very glamorous open-top sports car. He had the aviator shades, all
Excellent.
looking good. Well, you say excellent, but there's one problem. Don't stick your balding agent in the seat next to you. It didn't look glamorous. He's looking all stressed on his smartphone, in a slightly strained suit.
Yeah,
You can see the top of the head.
blowing up, wouldn't it? Now.
Well, that's what Kate Middleton did. Let's face it, she made exactly the same
I think
mistake.
people were thinking Kate Middleton's driving off with her agent.
Yes. I think she spoilt the whole thing by having that slightly chubby-faced balding bloke in there. At least he was driving.
in the car.
You see, for me, the whole point of doing well in life is that so someone else does the driving.
Is it?
These people, they want to drive their own cars, and a lot of them, they don't even want the manual gearbox. I know they do want the
They do
manual
want the manual, yeah.
They want that whole thing.
Well, hang on. They have to have that because the program itself is called Top Gear.
Yeah,
so
but there's still a top gear on an automatic,
yeah, but
theoretically.
you couldn't know for certain that you were in it if it was an automatic.
Oh, don't you ought to do it.
talk-
Don't you
No.
think
Well,
Alan would be
frankly,
good on it.
Listen to this conversation. I think you both should do it. What about us three?
Yeah, just bickering.
What if I did one for beginners called First Gear?
Yeah. And
No,
then-
honestly, you could do it because you do like cars.
I don't particularly know anything about cars. Like Chris Evans has said for the videos, you know, the public are allowed to audition. He said that they can send in videos of themselves, but you've got to know about cars. He said
That's
the
fair.
one
I think
condition.
that's a fair thing. Are you
Yeah.
allowed to say that nowadays?
What, that you've got to know about cars?
Yeah, I don't know if that's fair. That's fair
Oh, yeah.
advertising for a job.
Yeah, like we could sue him on an equal opportunities basis.
Anyway, I think he's the right man for it.
Yeah. I mean, if they want it to carry on in that vein, which they clearly do.
He said there's going to be a female co-host. He said, I'm 100% certain.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he probably knows who it is. That helps.
Well, I think...
But based on his previous categorical denial, I'm not certain that can be taken as...
Well, I would pay £1,000 if it was White D.
Yes.
What if it was me? What if I was the Stig?
Oh,
That would be brilliant.
such fun.
And Grimshaw
Grimmy.
Yes.
has got X Factor.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I saw these two pieces of news in conjunction, I thought to myself, you can spend your whole life trying to write clever jokes and come up with interesting views on things, but what the public really want is to be asked whether they're having a good time.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
You see, the thing is with this Grimmers, Mr. Grimshaw you like to call him, don't you?
Mr. Grimshaw? Yes.
He favours, as does Simone Cowell, the male cleavage, or as I believe it's called, the heavage.
The heavage.
Yeah, the male cleavage. He likes the open neck shirt, doesn't
Oh.
he? There's going to be a lot of heavage on that show.
Like Nooker Phantom.
I beg your
Pardon?
pardon.
Nooker Phantom was a bloke I
Is
used
that
to
a
drink.
foreign language?
Was that when you were born or
That was his
something?
name. That was his name. Nooker. Nooker Phantom.
It's near Smethwick.
Yeah, he used to. I used to drink with him in the 70s, and he always
narrows
had
it down?
his shirt right the way. He was probably 50 odd. He always had his shirt absolutely exposed. And if he leaned forward, you could see he got like a red V on his chest, and then very, very white around the rest of him.
Well, you say that, but he was no Tontonoma Sharif.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But he was consistent in his look. I'll give him that. A little bit of Nooker Phantom.
On Absolute
History
Radio.
there on Absolute
Specialist
Radio.
interest.
I sort of. I tell you what I admire about Grimo
Go on.
is that he's got. I've never been that good at the Friends thing. I'll be honest with you.
No.
He's got loads.
Tons.
Oh, he
of-
knows everyone.
No, but that's a good
celeb
sign,
fans.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean he's probably a nice chap?
Possibly.
I don't know.
That's a way you could take it. I would say that it might mean that he has a lot of shallow media type relationships rather than
No, I think it's like...
Bit too much.
No, I'm just saying that it's another way of taking it.
You
from
must
Frank's
have. You must
positive
have.
thinking approach, and I never thought I'd say that.
When I was a kid and I used to watch those Bacardi rum adverts, and I used to think, people are the people that actually live like that. And Grimo is that man.
Yeah. Yeah,
You think
which
he's
is,
got the dream lifestyle? Well, apparently Kate Moss put a word in for him
yeah.
with Simone
Well, there you
Cowell.
go. There you go. You
That's
say.
how I got this job. Do you remember Kate Moss phoned Frank and said, I think you should use Alan Cochrane?
Well, I had Dr. Rowan Williams put a word in for me.
Yeah,
Ah.
you know, everyone's got their trailblazers,
Yeah.
and you know that's how it works. I don't know. What surprises me is that Grimo is from Oldham, and now he's got this contact book that it says in the paper that it's to die for. He's got a to die for contact book. People would love to have his showbiz contacts.
You know who got me this job?
He got you.
Lamar from Kajagoogoo.
Did he?
Huh?
Wow.
One phone call.
Boom, you were in.
Yeah.
That is
No, I don't. I mean, you know, it's a bit like it's the celebrity version of winning the lottery, getting the Britain's Got Talent judging. Not Britain Got Talent.
Xfactor,
they're all
darling,
same
that's
thing.
the other one.
Oh yes, I don't watch either of them anymore. I must say, but the Xfactor thing, 'cause it's a cushy. I don't
nice
think the
gig.
mentoring is. I don't think they're killing themselves with it.
You don't.
So I sort of, you know, when somebody wins the lottery, you think, good luck to them. That's how I think about Grimo and Rita Ora.
Actually, you usually say it won't change. It won't make you happy. Is what you say when someone wins the lottery.
No, well, I'm not saying Britain's Got Talent will make them happy. And it's not Britain's Got Talent. What's it called?
The other one,
X-Factor.
X-Factor, darling.
I say I don't...
How many times do I have to say X-Factor,
I
darling?
stopped watching them. I used to love them,
Sure.
and then stop like that. It was just exactly the same with oven chips. I couldn't get enough, and then bang, it just stopped.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. But anyway, if you're listening, Grimo, you're up early.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'll tell you what, on the X Factor thing, by the way, did you read the Katie Hopkins thing about Rita Ora being on X
I don't
Factor?
know. What did
No.
she say?
She was quite unkind.
Katie Hopkins.
I know.
No
I
way.
know. But we all have our moments. And she, I haven't seen Rita Ora on The Voice.
Oh.
But Katie Hopkins predicts that she'll be incredibly boring on the thing, which I thought was a bit harsh.
Rita Ora.
Yeah. In fact, she closes with the Latin slogan, "A Aura Borealis."
Does she?
Yeah. Which I thought was pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Extraordinary moment in broadcasting.
I thought so. There's been stranger ones this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we get to email
Yeah,
corner?
email corner.
Shall we?
I'm looking. Here it is. Oh, that's not it. Keep
Prince
talking.
Andrew.
Keep talking.
Is that Prince Andrew? Here he is.
Here he comes. See, it's our aura.
Borealis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I wonder if she thought of the pun first and then reverse engineered it, saying, I'm going to call her boring and then I can call her Borealis.
Can I say she didn't think of the pun? I made that bit up.
Oh,
Of course
what
he
a
did.
shame.
You
What a
honestly
shame.
thought Katie Hopkins? I mean,
I did, yeah.
okay,
I
she's
did.
got good legs, but her Latin is all over the place.
Good
I
legs.
feel a fool now.
She has got good legs, Katie Hopkins. I think you can say that about Katie Hopkins.
Frank
I'm
sees the
not suggesting-
positives, even
I know,
in
he really does,
what I
doesn't
like
he?
to
You
call
always
public
gotta-
hate figures.
You do. You
He
have to
sees the positives.
You have to find the good in people.
He always looks for the good in the hate figure.
Very good at that. I have an email
Mussolini,
here.
brilliant with his shirt off. He looked great with his shirt
Did
off.
he?
You know, and he wasn't a young man.
The only ones that I can think of to add are not good things to say on the radio.
No.
Let's move
Then
to emails.
don't say them, dear.
Hello, Frank and the lovely team. This is an email about life's little pleasures, I would say.
Is this the strangest show we've ever had?
No,
There was
why
something-
no?
there
Why
was
no stretch?
Something really curious about it.
Yeah, but you know.
Hello, Frank and the lovely team. I'm no gardener, but I am
Like
glad.
someone's knocking upstairs.
That's true, yeah, during the show.
It's like Derek Acora with his medium. What's the medium? What's
Hello,
the-
Frank and the lovely
Oh,
team.
what is it called?
Shall we-
Sorry, what is
Oh, no,
what is
that's-
Derek Akora's medium called? Sam.
Sam!
Sam, that's Sam.
Oh.
Do you not know? I didn't like the way you both pointed at me as if I was meant to know either.
Oh, and I thought one of us has to know.
And it was you.
Yeah.
which
Hurrah.
is the right order of things, I guess.
Thank you.
Sorry, Alan, as you were.
I am no gardener. I'm reading this as the emailer, by the way. I'm no gardener, but I am glad I am not the only one who admires the lawn after I have cut it. That's a thing you do, isn't it? That's what you said.
Yes.
It's a Brit to stand back and look at a newly mown lawn. It's the most proud I think I've ever been of any inanimate object.
I am sad enough to actually get up. Again,
Can I stop you there? Is a lawn an inanimate object? It isn't.
Oh,
is it?
no, it's not.
Oh, I knew as soon as I said it, I
ever-growing.
felt bad.
I'm sad enough
You
to
said
actually
worse
get
things.
up
Sorry, Alan.
and look outside at various intervals to admire it, especially
Yeah, I
at
do
night
that.
when it gets illuminated by the street lamp and looks like a green on a golf course with nice and trimmed edges.
Oh.
It
I
only
remember I
lasts-
read a short story by Saki. You know Saki who wrote short stories?
I do.
I find them a bit snide. Anyway.
And he was moaning about, he went to a house and it was a very neglected garden, and he said the lawn looked like it had been left out all night, which I very much liked. He also said of a cook, he said she was a very good cook as cooks go, and as cooks go, she went. Anyway, there you are. Saki, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Real name, Hector Hugh Munro.
Right.
I told you it's a strange show.
It only lasts a couple of days
My
before it
peacock
starts
died.
growing again. This is the lawn we're back on. Mm-hmm. And after a week, I have to repeat the process. I think it's the effort that you put in that gives you such satisfaction.
Yes.
I get annoyed if the neighbours have the lawns cut before mine, making it look untidy. That's and I've only got regular podcast listener as the name there.
Well, they're anonymous.
Our Keith, I remember, he had a council house he lived in, and the fence collapsed. Mm-hmm. And you can get the council round, but normally if the fence goes down, you just lift it up. That's all it needed. But Keith didn't get round to it, and the lawn grew around it till you couldn't lift it took a grip on it.
It tied it in.
It had sort of fostered it. It became, you couldn't raise it because the grass was so entwined. That's how long it was down there.
Oh, wow, that is good.
I remember he bought some paint as well and wallpaper he was going to do. Again, he couldn't have got the council, decided to do it himself. It was in a corner for, I think, 2.5 years. Never moved. He's a great man.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I think it's time to go to our next email.
Can I just say something before we
course
do?
you can.
know, we have a tradition on this show that's ran for many years called the idiotic eureka moment.
Yes.
When you suddenly realised something that you should have realised a long time ago. Mm-hmm. That Sooty and Sweep are both based on the chimney cleaning business, par example. Mm-hmm. Or that Maureen Lipman in the BT adverts played a character called BT.
Yes.
Maureen Lipman, incidentally, was at Lambeth Palace the other night.
Was she?
Is she a follower?
The religion.
I didn't know she was the Nazarene.
No, well, she's of the older
Yes.
group,
You know.
Yes.
Old Testament.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
Anyway, it struck me this week for the first time, and I'm guessing you're going to say, well, you idiot, of course, which is what should happen when you expect.
Well, given that I didn't know Sooty and Sweep and I still don't quite understand it, I doubt that.
Really?
Well, they're both references to, what.
I know, but it's too confusing. I don't
Okay.
understand it.
Anyway, Nintendo,
Yeah.
it's the first, it's 9-10,
That's not...
isn't it?
I don't think that's
No.
a thing.
Isn't it?
Don't think so.
Isn't it 9-10?
Duh.
Well, what's dough?
No, it's like, do
Short
it.
for 11.
9-10, do it. It's like you count to 10, and then you
9-10,
Oh,
do
the
it.
idiotic eureka moment. That's just
9-10
idiotic.
No.
9-10, do.
Yeah.
9-10,
Like
do.
you've counted up because you're excited.
What
1,
people
2,
always
3,
say,
4,
don't
5,
they?
6, 7, 8. They don't want to. They can't call it that.
No.
9-10, do, and you're off. Whoa!
Right. Yeah,
Back me
I
up.
think...
Come on, back
Who's
me
it? I'm
up.
not backing you up
I think
because
you've
it's
really stumbled on something
utterly
there, mate.
absurd. Who's
It's
ever
not
said
absurd.
9, 10, do in their whole life?
Obviously, people
I've just said it twice.
people that count up to 10 before they do an activity.
Look, 9-10. That can't be a coincidence, can it?
Yes, it
9,
can.
10. What, 9? Somebody said let's call it Nintendo, just out of the blue. I'm worried now there's a Japanese bloke going to text in and say, sorry, my name's Dave Nintendo. There's lots of us in Japan, that's why it's called that.
That's what I think.
There won't be anyone called Dave Nintendo.
I don't think so.
8 Nintendo, there might be.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the most silly things you've ever said.
I think we'll see. Someone out there will know. We have the cleverest listeners on Radio Land. I think that's established. They'll know.
Okay. Is it time
Okay.
for the next email?
Okay.
Okay.
I bet it won't be as interesting. There you go. There you see. If it wasn't, it's going to catch on now.
No, I quite like it now.
Yeah.
I love it,
Gives a
Frank.
little ramp to action.
Yeah.
You can start races and all sorts.
Oh, I'm going to use it in the bedroom.
Oh, God.
I mean, we're getting my pyjamas on.
That's how Evo can start Top Gear.
Yeah.
Be good for the opening sequence,
Oh,
wouldn't
do
it?
you think he's listening to this thinking I'm having that?
Might be.
9, 10, do.
Yeah. Nevertheless...
Nevertheless.
We already have some news in about 910 do. Would you like to know what it
Yes.
is? 638. It means...
No, that's not 6. That's not right.
No, that's the communicator.
Oh, sorry.
It means leave luck to heaven.
Oh.
Leave luck to heaven. 9, 10. In Japanese.
One would assume so.
Nintendo means
No,
something.
it's not as good as mine, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, it's a coincidence that Leave Luck to Heaven has got 9, 10 at the beginning of
Although
it.
it hasn't actually, it's got Nin 10.
Yeah, but
And-
come on, don't pick hairs.
Pick hair.
Oh, is it, do you pick hairs or do you? You do, I suppose, if you're at a German singles night.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Nintendo Gate has meant that I still haven't read out the email I was about to read out.
Okay.
Okay? This is from
Did
Adam.
we get any closure on Nintendo?
Well, we've just had Nintendo comes from Japanese, roughly translated as leave luck to heaven.
yeah, we had that before, didn't
Yeah,
we?
but
Oh,
they
well,
then
wait, he hasn't
continue.
finished.
Nintendo was originally a playing card making company formed in 1889, which I suppose is what if it's about, leave luck to heaven, it's a game of chance, isn't it? Cards.
Yeah, but they're not. But that surely Leave Luck to Heaven means that you should not need luck. You need to do it all on skill and abilities, like Nintendo.
Yeah.
Is there any luck involved in Nintendo?
A lot of people are saying Nintendo isn't 9-10, though. They're getting quite angry with you, Frank.
Well,
They think you're a fool.
I wonder
they?
if you're doing it on purpose, if you're like a broadcasting troll, if you're doing that thing to just wind people up. I wonder if you're like
who are you? One of the Billy Goats Groff?
you're a wind-up merchant. Is that
Are you what I believe is now referred to as a trollumnist, as opposed to a columnist?
Excellent.
Wow, and I'm actually a trombonist. Does that count?
Well,
I saw a
we do
plastic
not wanna know
trombone
this
the other
story.
day,
Oh.
by the way. Never seen one before.
You saw what? A plastic trombone?
Plastic trombone, and it still sounds like a trombone, but it's plastic.
That is
That's
good.
nice, darling. Shall I read this email?
Yes, please do.
Okay, this is from
That's nice, darling.
this is from Adam, who spells his name with an E, controversially.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
What, like the Dutch cheese?
No.
Yeah, just like that.
Do you think, when people say as in, like I used to know an Andy Rose, R-O-S-E, as in the flower?
Oh, yeah.
That's his, as in the Dutch cheese.
Right.
That's what he says, Frank.
So he's called Edam?
No, he's not.
Yeah, yeah.
called
Let's just
Adem.
go with it.
A-D-E-M.
Oh, okay. Can I tell you a story? I had a mate who, he went on a coach tour
I'm sorry to hear that.
of Holland. And he was on his own. And he was on the coach. I think he was quite drunk. And there was a sign for Edam. And a woman, a middle-aged woman, said, "Oh, Edam, there's a cheese called Edam." And at that moment, he sort of gave up on humanity. Honestly, I'm not kidding. He came back and he told me this story with genuine, as if he'd seen a massacre in the street. And after that, he lived on his own. He gave up his... Honestly, I'm not making this up. He sort of gave up on people. forever on the strength of that.
What a shame.
I sort of admired. I admired him in a way that it must have been the straw. It must have been coming.
Yes.
But honestly,
it's a curious, inciting incident.
he basically
as they say in the movie.
He moved in on his own and turned to drink, and that was his. That was it for him.
Like, it could have all been so different if she turned around and said, "Edam, you know it's the cheese."
Yeah,
that's
he'd have
made
been
backwards.
fine with that.
If she'd said the made backwards thing, Edam made backwards.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
He despaired of
Is that what
humanity.
Edam means?
Edam is
No,
made...
there's a place called Edam.
Yeah, I know, but it's made backwards, isn't it? Edam.
You are.
Look, Edam.
No, I get it.
E-D-A-M is made backwards.
Yes.
It's not really made backwards. I think they make it in the same order as normal
you
cheese.
two aren't remotely irritating.
I'm not here to talk about dairy-based chronology. Anyway.
That sounds like you very much are.
Could have changed the course of your friend's life if she'd made that little observation instead.
As it was, she said Edam, and that
I
was
don't know about
the
you,
end of
but
that.
this conversation is causing me to despair of humanity, and I'm about to turn to drink, and you won't see me or hear of me again.
Okay, let's do the email.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This is from Adam, where it all started.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank, Alan M. My good friends Leanne Titman and Matt Bevan are getting married this weekend. Whilst...
Leanne Titman.
Yes.
I'd be in a rush to get married if I was her. Any other name will do.
Unbelievable. Whilst most couples...
So what will she be then? She'll be called Leanne
Bevan.
Bevan, that's a good one.
Whilst most couples will be spending quality time on their honeymoon, Matt will be having at least 1 hour away from his new bride. He insists...
Can I stop you there?
Yes.
This thing about quality time on the honeymoon...
You don't approve?
Is that an innuendo of some kind?
Oh, yes, I think you're right.
Because I think those days are gone, aren't they?
Is it a bit humorous birthday card?
No, I think...
but people, you know... I mean, I don't want to go into details, but people used to wait until marriage
yeah.
to become...
I see what you're saying, yeah.
No, they don't, mate. I'm not... these two may have. I'm not commenting on their person. I'm generalising.
What did your mum call it? Was it the brush or living under the brush or something?
Living over the brush
Right,
was
what is
when they weren't married, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But nowadays, I think a lot of people are already very close before they get married.
Already very
And so-
close now.
It's like the garden party or
Well, look,
something.
it's morning breakfast.
The ABFC.
Morning breakfast. It's breakfast radio.
Are you very close now?
Well, we were very close before we were married. I'm going to,
Well, there you go.
as my son will attest.
I won't be commenting.
But so
But we're very
then,
close.
so the honeymoon was, just so you went went away on your own, etc. But now,
On your own, etc.
but now, it's as though I don't know why people even have honeymoons. I mean, why? Well, you've been together a while. I think you should be allowed a time just to get used to the idea you've got married before you take on the brutal reality of a couple holiday, which is enough to break anyone.
Oh,
You're right,
thanks, I've got
actually.
one next week.
Yours will be lovely though because it's still early days. But 2 or 3 years in a couple holiday is always a tentative
Right,
time.
in a way, Frank. What people should do is get married and then take separate holidays, just enjoy themselves.
That'd
Do you
be
think
great.
so?
That would be great.
Wouldn't that
And
be
then
an
you get to
indication
have
of
fun,
love?
and then you
You think
convene.
no, because
Some,
you
as
go away.
Frank calls it, etc.
If you went away for say 3 months on your own,
3 months.
3 months.
after about
It's a separation.
after about 10 weeks, you'd be really missing the other person, and get back, and it'd
Hopefully,
be
yeah.
brilliant.
I don't want to make you feel sick, but I miss them after a night.
That's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, that's nice.
Anyway,
Me and Kat started with a honeymoon. We had a honeymoon. That was our first date. Basically, we went on holiday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then of course you're so excited about each
amazing
other.
/ quite forward. I mean, you ended up together. I'm glad you did.
Yes.
Come on.
It was a little bit forward, I suppose. Do you fancy going on holiday? I said, I'll take you anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world you want to go, I'll take you. She said the Lake District.
That's
I
why.
thought
That's
this
why
is-
you're still with her now.
Yeah, exactly. Cheap. So, anyway, so people still have honeymoons.
Yes. So Matt will be having at least 1 hour away from his new bride. He insists on having his Frank bath time.
Oh, it's that Matt. Bath Matt, I call it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Where he locks the door. Yep, it is that Matt. And listens to the podcast without interruption.
Oh, lovely.
Is that just a euphemism, though? Like I'm reading the paper?
No,
if you know what I
I
mean.
think
Don't
that's...
so.
This means no toilet breaks for Leanne and no communication at all between the two whilst he listens to the pods. This has caused many an argument, and this is still how he plans to spend his honeymoon. Could you please say hi to Leanne and Matt and wish them a happy marriage? And do any other readers have odd podcast listening habits? That's from Edam.
Well, I bet he's got very red skin. Edam.
Can't go out in the sun.
I think that's good. As you know, I believe that in any couple you should be the guardians of each other's solitude.
Oh, yeah.
So why not let him have that time?
Yeah.
Because when you have kids, that'll be out the window. So I think it's lovely. How lovely that he listens to the podcast.
Yeah, but you say that. What about when my boyfriend went to the bathroom and I told him I had abandonment issues?
Yeah, that's...
He left me.
Yeah. I had... oh, no, I won't go into that one. OK, so... no, anyway, we do wish Leanne and Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, we wish them a very long and happy marriage.
Yeah.
And I think separation, periods of separation is a good idea if it's just an hour in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after. But I've got a podcast. I'll tell you after.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, we just had visitors. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been arrested. I'm sure it'll all be fine.
Yeah. It's not your time yet. Do your business at the top of the hour.
Okay, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan, all in one breath.
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Excellent.
Thank you. Okay, officers, just this way now.
Diaphragm.
I wonder if you could wait till that's hurting me. So,
what about Princess Anne? I've been waiting all morning to talk about this.
No, she won't be alright. Oh, I see what you mean.
No, she was a woman after the cockerel's own heart this week.
I feel like this story is very much between the two of us. It's got fashion and thrift.
It really has.
I don't know who should bring it up.
That's what you two should do, a TV cop show called Fashion and Thrift.
Yeah, we've got that idea on many tables in the corridors of power. The tables haven't got corridors, but you know what I mean.
We would be a very good Rosemary and Thyme double act.
Mm-hmm.
The cockerel and
Sure.
So she recycled one of her favourite outfits. It's definitely what we call an old favourite.
Old favourites?
35 years ago, Al.
First wore it 35 years ago.
Respect.
Amazing.
Mustard-coloured coat. Some of the newspapers
it was
called
white.
it
was
yellow.
white 35 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have had it clean.
She's left it in the smoking room. That's why it's gone.
So save the ceiling.
That outfit is older than Nick Grimshaw.
Oh,
wow.
well, officially.
According to his agent's records.
Yeah.
That's it. Brilliant, though. That if probably there's a paper this week where that outfit and Nick Grimshaw are in the same paper.
Yes.
And that the outfit is older.
Well, what I also liked was that normally, when they're the Mail Online or whatever talking about what a lady's wearing, they'll say she wore a coat by Dolce & Gabbana or by Valentino. And I'm not going to lie, I had to struggle. These weren't designers I was familiar with.
Go on.
Partly because Susan Small, her boutique closed down in 1958.
No.
Yeah. And this is true.
So hold on, so she must have had it for long. If she wore it 35 years ago...
Yeah.
I think
when is that?
This designer, she wore it. There was a designer who worked for Susan Small, the label, called Maureen Baker.
Oh, yes, of course.
I tried to Google her, and
Mel
the only
Baker.
person that came up with that name was the chair of the Royal College of GPs.
Right.
So I'm not
She's
familiar
had
with...
plenty of time for a career change.
Yeah.
Possibly she has. Anyway, I think it was good that she was... I quite like the recycling.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, obviously you're going to say that, Cockerel.
It's really good, yeah. I've got some jogging bottoms that I was given, I think, for Christmas in 1994, and I still wear them. Bit moth-eaten and, like, the gusset has gone. Like they're sort of more like MC Hammer pants now.
I don't want to think about the Departed Gossip by Emile Zola.
Oh, I thought that was a Matt Damon film. Didn't do so well.
But I haven't got anything that I could wear for best that's as old as that.
Well,
for a start, if I had stuff that was that old, it would be, from when I was 5. It's not going to fit now.
As I think I've mentioned before, when in the 70s, when I was a young man,
Yes.
people wore the same clothes basically every day. You didn't used to say that tall chap. You'd say, you know, that chap wears a tan leather jacket. That's how you describe people. And it was quite an event if someone came out in a different coat. Whoa, new coat. But it was
I love the idea of
That's an
someone
event.
saying that these days.
True.
New coat.
Nooker Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
He had that.
New shirt, buttoned up.
No, never. It was same suit, same shirt, wide open, almost to the navel, with the collars outside. He's a sort of Harry Hill type thing of always wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I respect her.
I respect her frugality. And also, she, unintentionally, is very retro. She looked very on trend.
Yeah.
Because the 70s look is coming back, you see.
Which I think I've always thought she's quite attractive, Princess
Yeah.
Anne.
Yeah, she's quite up your Strasser.
She's got a very full lip. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, she
has that kind of mouth.
Yeah.
She's kept her figure, Frank.
And the look
has.
that she probably would shove you about a bit.
Pardon?
Extraordinary remark.
Put some music on.
Music? Okay. Here she comes.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know the jogging bottoms that I mentioned earlier with the sagging gussets that I've had for 20 years old?
Remember them.
The G word.
I personally have
Horrible,
improved over that 20 years, but they have not. They've declined. They were at their peak, I think, late 94.
Is it like the jogging bottoms of Dorian Gray?
Yeah, a bit like that. But they've got a little bit moth-eaten, and I've recently had a moth problem where they ate a jumper of mine that was only 18 months old or a year or something.
Do moths still exist?
They do.
Of course they still exist.
But evidently not in royal circles. If Princess Anne can still be wearing a jacket that's 35 years old,
She's got coats older than that.
How can that be?
Yeah, but you know, they're able to see off wildlife without a second thought. I shouldn't think moths bother them much.
Do you think they've just got permanent staff guarding the clothes? With,
I imagine they've got mothballs, old-fashioned mothballs. Can you still buy those?
Yeah, but I've got them and they haven't worked. And
You'll be getting the cheap ones from the market.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Do you think
fine.
she's a person that's never read one of those articles about tidying up where you have to look at your own wardrobe and go, if I haven't worn this in 12 months, it's going in the bin bag for the charity shop? Do you think she gets
She
it out
won't
and
be
goes,
doing that.
yeah, I haven't worn this for 12 months, I'll give it another 20 years?
Well, I was talking to someone recently, a lady, and she said...
They're stopping you, is there?
She said to me
Who was
that
it?
every year she puts... Well, she started this a few years ago. All the coat hangers in her wardrobe are facing in one direction on the top. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're all
Why on earth
hooked.
are you having this conversation with her?
They're all hooked the same way. I think we were talking about hooks
Okay.
as a substitute for hands.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she was on about how all the... they were all hang the same
Yes.
way. And then every time she wears something that year, she puts it the other way. And then at the end of the year, the ones that are still facing the same way, she throws them out.
Brutal.
She doesn't sound like she's got issues.
She's no Princess Anne.
No.
Yeah, she... well,
Although
I thought
it is quite a
a
good-
good system.
Well, it is a good system, but I can't be keeping clothes for that long, Frank.
On a year.
No, I really can't.
To be fair to Princess Anne, she's worn this coat 5 times, to our knowledge. And in the article I read, it said that the average woman wears an item that she buys 7 times.
Right.
So Anne has still got a couple of wears in it.
I believe it's called cost per wear.
Yeah.
That's what they call it now.
Yeah.
Nooker Phantom went into, I think, 4 figures
Stop
with
going like
his.
Look at Phantom all morning. You've talked about him. No one knows who he is,
Well,
and
they
he's
do.
all we're talking about
I'm
on the
amazed
show.
we haven't been inundated with text saying, I remember Nooker Phantom. Do you remember that time? But no. I don't know what's... Perhaps it's not working. It's a computer problem.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Can I talk about what I did this week? Because you mixed with the Archbishop of Canterbury. You bought a new sat-nav, I believe, Alan.
Did you? Pretty pleased
And
with that.
I went backstage at Take That's gig.
Wow.
God, it's uncanny.
Yeah?
Is that what it was like?
I was guest of Gary Barlow. We had passes with FF. Well, I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was Florence and Fred at Tesco.
Let's see if we can work it out.
F and F, it said.
Friend. F and F.
Yeah.
Friend and...
Foe.
No.
Oh.
Friend and fellow tax dodger.
Well, yours... How dare you?
Sorry about that.
These are my friends, these people now. Well, I wish they would be. Frank and Friend, yours could have been. No, we went backstage.
What is F and F then?
I think it was Friends and Family.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. But you know what's interesting? Because it is a middle-aged crowd. There's no getting away from it. I did fit in. Everyone's in their 40s. So he doesn't do Gary. He doesn't do Hello Wembley, partly because it's not at Wembley, it's at the O2. But he doesn't do the big Hello London thing. Do you know what he says?
Does he do when you're having a good time?
No, can I tell you what he does?
No,
he says,
go on.
Thanks for coming. I mean, once you've paid the parking and the babysitter, it's a really expensive night out. And I really appreciate it. I love that.
That's good. I like
really
that.
liked it.
That
He was
is
honest.
interesting. Yeah,
It was like seeing you live on stage.
yeah, it does sound like me.
Anyway, so we go backstage.
That's good, that.
I loved it. We go backstage, and first we get taken to a bar. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed. I mean, it's a decent level of celebrity. We're talking Mark Durden-Smith, Greg Rudetsky. It's okay.
Yes.
But there's no Barlow there. I'm thinking, you know what? It is what it is, as great people often say. So suddenly a steward comes through in a high-vis jacket. He says to me and my boyfriend, could you come with me, please? I was so embarrassed. I think Mark Durden-Smith thought we were being kicked out. I thought we were being kicked out.
You hadn't
We
paid
get
your
led into
parking.
another area. I hadn't paid for our parking.
Was it the
you were
right
getting
audience?
We get led through. There's a woman there in a better quality high-vis.
Oh, good.
She says, go through there. She points to a wardrobe. It's a mahogany, ornate wardrobe. I couldn't believe it, Frank. This
You
is
have to go
backstage at
through
the O2.
there?
Yes. Go through the wardrobe. I said, what do you
Narnia.
mean? She said, go through that wardrobe.
You haven't mixed up Gary Barlow with Mr. Tindless.
She points to the wardrobe. She went, push it, push it. It's all right, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
I pushed it. I walked through. Gary's standing there on the other side. I couldn't believe it. In all his regalia.
In a wardrobe.
No, the wardrobe was the door, the portal.
It was a fake
through-
wardrobe.
Yeah, it's a fake wardrobe.
A whole new
Through
world.
to Gary's special F&F area, as it were.
Oh,
Reclose my wardrobe!
brilliant.
I think it might have started with George Michael, who knows? But someone decided that was a good thing to have backstage. It's very clever.
Did he
It
say
is
shut
a
the
good
door
idea.
before some of the plebs get in?
Well, I was so excited.
Yeah,
it was very
I bet.
star-studded.
Apparently he's removed the back for good.
Oh,
Remove the back. Remove the back.
oh, you would have got on. You know his material.
Well, there's room for him now in a wardrobe. There's only 3 of them left, isn't
Only
there?
3 to take that.
I met
Probably
his
room in the
daughter.
car home,
Charming.
actually.
Always get in with the children.
Yes, then they'll love you.
Yeah, I got on with the children. She liked Frozen. I said to Gary before he went on stage, I said, oh, are you going to sing Frozen? You're going to sing Let It Go? He went, no, I won't do that one tonight.
Right.
Chris Evans was backstage. Jerry Halliwell.
Wow.
We sat next to Jerry Halliwell, Frank.
Are you sure it wasn't the TARDIS you said?
One of the S Club juniors.
I love Jerry Halliwell. She's great.
Do you know what? She looked good. I won't lie. She saved us from an embarrassing incident with Miley in class as well.
I think more of this
Yeah.
soon.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a lot of texts and emails.
Oh, we have.
What about Gary Barlow?
No, we'll come back to that. Although
Come back to
760
Emily's
says...
smiling class cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's what I would call it.
Yeah. 285, hi Frank and team. I was an apprentice stitcher runner for Maureen Baker in the early 80s.
Wow.
Oh, Maureen Baker, who made the yellow coat.
Yeah. Princess Anne's outfits were regularly revamped in Maureen's workrooms based in buildings off Oxford Street.
Brilliant. Imagine what that was like.
Well, you could always get parking space then.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you what, that tells its own tale. They were being revamped, so maybe she hasn't kept the figure. Perhaps it's just stuff's being altered each time it gets a wear
There's
out.
always somebody wants to sneer.
I wasn't sneering. I was just, joining the dots, as they
Top
say.
sneer you should be presenting.
We've
What's the
also-
name of Maureen's old Stitch person?
She's called Ginny.
Oh, man, God, can you imagine? I bet she's got some tails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
also,
like those tail coat things.
yeah.
Also, Ginny, appropriate someone working for the royal family.
Very good. We've also had, I think, a slightly chastising of you email, Frank, entitled "Recognised by Coat," in regards to Of course. In regards to changing coats and clothes, some people do still wear the same clothes for ages. I think you forget that you are part of the wealthy few now.
No, believe me, I haven't forgotten that.
He's a slum landlord.
Yeah. No, I think that the working classes are...
Of which you're one, in fairness.
Yeah, but are richer now than when I was doing it full-time.
Yeah. And also...
But I'm sure that, yes, they don't have a whole... I always imagine that the rise of things like Primark and stuff...
Well, I was about to say, I've been to supermarkets and clothes are no longer prohibitively expensive. I refuse
there's
to
more
accept that.
disposable fashion.
I have to say, it wasn't that we were completely flat broke necessarily, but that it was more important to spend the money on drink.
Yeah.
I used to, honestly, I would look at a T-shirt and think, oh, how much is that? What? 13 pints? Forget about it. I honestly did that. But anyway, of course, I am aware of the fact that I am blessed in that respect. I also still wear the same clothes quite a lot, regardless, because I think you get emotionally attached.
Yeah. We've also had, having heard the Barlow story, is Emily's boyfriend a lion?
Because of the lion that...
You went through the
doesn't that
wardrobe.
mean you're a witch?
Oh.
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know.
Oh, I did not realise that. I thought it was... Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Is there
My
room
apologies.
on
Please
the
do.
broom for a dog like me?
Oh, yes, Frank.
So your Myling class moments.
Oh, yeah.
Tell
So we
us.
leave the wardrobe, we leave the closet, and we come out appropriately. And there's more high-vis. Gary lays on loads of high-vis stewards for you to see you to your seat, which is lovely. Frank's actually looking at telly. He's lost interest
No,
in
I'm
that
absolutely
story.
listening
Is
to
it
You hate
it.
it
dark?
because I
Stewards.
got
Gary
absolutely
lays on
first-class
lots of...
entrance, and that was a VIP experience like no other.
Yes.
Money
Sounds
couldn't
good.
buy that. So we get through
I mean, in
to our
fairness,
seats.
the remaining members of Take That are keeping more of their money than the tax people would particularly enjoy, I think. But that's fine.
This is going to be really awkward when I go around for Sunday lunch to the Barlow.
They won't have heard this.
Look,
We could
you
slag
know.
them right
He
off if we
says,
wanted.
I really like you, but when the cockerel was doing that tax stuff, it's Mark that's got a problem with it.
No,
So-
it's all three. Anyway.
Sat in the seats, everything's fine. Jerry's next to us. That's quite exciting. Jerry on our left.
Yeah.
Then,
Jerry on our left sounds like an old war reminiscence.
she's got a suede, very short skirt, Frank.
Has she?
You missed out. Can I say
good, that.
superb legs? Superb legs. I'm allowed to say that, aren't I?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Myling class. Very done up to the nines.
Again, an attractive woman now.
She walks through, comes and shuffles through. You know when they shuffle through the latecomers, they're all in the middle of pray, take that. The timing was a bit off. She comes through, sorry, stands in front of our seats, looks at her ticket. We just didn't budge. She walks back. She talks to her friend. She looks at our seats again. She starts talking to Jerry, pointing at us. I said, are we sitting in her seats? My boyfriend said, I don't know. I said, well, why don't you look at the ticket? He said, oh, I'll be fine. Carried on looking at the gig. So, I don't know. I had a feeling we were maybe sitting in her seat.
It might have been just hearsay. I mean, come on.
But you know why I love Jerry now? Because she saved it. She sorted it out. She budged up some S Club Juniors and a Molly from the Saturdays, and it was all fine.
Honestly thought the
Yeah.
S Club Juniors thing was you joking.
No, they were there.
Oh,
She found her
that's
seat.
excellent. Oh,
It was
okay.
great.
Yeah, see, she's not only has she had a very successful career in music, Jerry, but she can usher if she
That's
has to.
good.
Yes,
Good
she
to have
did.
that to fall back on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, God, to be glad. But did all the ushering at her own wedding, apparently.
Brilliant.
Respect to Mundo, as they used to say. I'm worried about this person who's wearing the same clothes. I feel they're angry with me.
It's fine.
I've told you not to read out the negative stuff. We had the bloke last week who said I
thought
was
that was-
cliquey.
I thought that was positive.
Who said I was cliquey?
These people, they hate me.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We should really talk about little Blanket Jackson, Michael Jackson's child.
Was that the one that was dangled off the balcony? Was that
It was.
Yes, that
I
was
think
Blanky.
It was Blanky.
Blanky, yeah.
Was dangled. Now I thought and I think I'm right in saying this, but I thought Blanket was his nickname. I thought his name was Prince Michael Jackson, actually.
Is that what he's called?
I think it's something like
You're
Prince
correct.
Michael Jackson.
What about Jermaine? Do you remember Jermaine had got a son called Your Majesty?
That's right, yeah.
Top notch.
It's very good, that, isn't it?
Excellent.
And as you know, my children are called Alanamac and Alanaminium.
Very
They're
good.
my kids, yeah. But Blanket apparently doesn't like being called Blanket anymore, so he's changing it to
Difficult teenagers.
Biggie.
Why has he gone for Biggie?
Biggie, I'm not sure. It's
Should have gone for Martin or Stephen.
yeah, Fred Jackson. You know, Sean could have gone for anything like a bit run of the mill. But he's gone for Biggie. He's just going to get bullied for Biggie now, isn't he? It's out of the frying pan into the fire.
So did he get bullied for Blanket? Is that
Yes,
the
I
idea?
believe
He
he
did.
did, yeah.
Can you believe that someone who is the son of Michael Jackson is being bullied because of their name, not because of their dad and all the...
Yeah.
Not really.
What's happened to bullying? It's really gone down the nick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
In my day,
creative.
we'd have been reading from his biography and
That's true,
making
yeah.
sniping remarks.
That would have been fun,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
it's all-
Such fun.
Well,
But
I
yeah.
don't know why he sounds to me like he's a bit of a wet blanket.
It was only a matter of time, wasn't it? It was only a matter of time.
I'm surprised
there it
he's
is.
being bullied over that, though, because let's be honest, the unusual name is becoming more commonplace now.
It is. It's everywhere.
I mean, no offence, Alan, but you're more likely to get teased if you were a child called Alan. Just because it's a regular name.
Yeah.
Frank,
I
you look really
suppose.
tense.
Yeah, I mean, my name was the least of my worries. I was in an English school with a Scottish accent, and yeah, I had other stuff going on. I was like a veritable feast for the school bully.
I was bullied for having a beetle haircut. It's true. They used to call me Beetle and basically shove me about.
Oh, that's
As
a
in the
shame.
band, or as
Yeah.
in
I thought the Beatles were very
Yeah,
popular.
I didn't have it combed into antennae. Yeah, I'd had a
I
beetle
imagine
fringe.
you with some woodlouse comb over.
No, it
That's what I
was.
was thinking.
No, that was it. So they used to call me Beetle, and basically,
Oh.
yeah,
Do you know what? I would have befriended you. Would I? Hell, I would have hung out with the popular crew.
I wouldn't have gone next to the girl who had her skirt ripped off by a dog. Terrible. But a blanket is not such a bad.
Well, it's not a bad
Tell
thing,
you what,
is
I'd
it?
have a blanket over a biggie any day.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I have done. But I think it's an okay. I mean, Hilary Duvet. She
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 gets
never
back.
moans. She never complains. I don't know what the fuss is about.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a text from our regular punner, Ian Angel, has texted Frank. I thought there was a
Angel
blanket
Angle.
ban on bullying. I think it's
Blanket,
Angel.
very good.
We also had an email that I'd like to bring to your attention. Good morning, team. As a regular podcast listener, I've never fully appreciated the skillful editing until I listened to the show live today and heard the Rita Ora Katie Hopkins joke. Keep up the work.
That is harsh.
Innit?
Ouch.
Well, yes. It didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but believe you me, it'll be in the podcast. We don't actually edit it.
On grounds of joke failure.
No, I think it's all right to have that in.
Well, I mean, we can't do that in case we end up 1 week having to put out a 2.5-minute podcast.
Well, exactly. I think the Rita Ora thing was a work of beauty.
Yeah, well,
Our aura, our
Oh, don't do it again,
Boring.
Frank. I mean, this was one segment of the show that we got over and we've moved on, and the show's improved as a result of
I'll tell you
our
what it
distance
reminded
from
me
it.
of, the feeling when it happened. I
When it happened?
I went to the Caledonian Road Festival in North London.
oh, you get around, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And I
near King's
bought
Cross.
Handy.
Kat's sister bought my son Boz a balloon, a Mickey Mouse balloon. £6.
That's a price.
I know.
You're doing well, though.
And
She's doing well for herself.
I didn't fasten it correctly, and I put it on the ring. I said, "There you are," and it just
like where this
floated
is gonna
away.
end.
Did
And
Buzz cry?
the feeling I had when I watched Mickey Mouse going over just over a roof into the distance. Right high was how I felt just after the Rita Ora Borealis.
Elevated?
That I'd released something which had should have been maybe kept on a tight string.
Oh, yeah.
There you have it.
I think that's a reasonable analogy.
Still going to be in the podcast.
Yeah, why not?
There'll be someone at home who appreciates you. Someone
Podcast is going to be in your obituary.
Didn't you say to me recently that you had a friend who liked my George Gershwin yawning joke?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I did that 3 times live, got nothing. For those of you who are wondering... There it goes again.
That just made me yawn.
Yeah.
Catch it all.
Why have you made us do that again?
I don't know, it still didn't go that well. Anyway.
It's never going to go well.
Try it again next week.
And thank you very much for listening this morning. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Yes, it was a strange show. I don't care. Get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.